Hello, and welcome to my August garden tour. Today I'm going to take you on a walk through my back garden and show you how everything is growing in. The weather this August has been a mix of warmer days and overcast days, with a few small rainstorms in between. Overall, I think it's been a bit of a cooler summer this year. Most things are loving it, but some things are wishing for a bit more sun. Let's start with my hot garden area. Since last time, I've added in a few things like this Heliopsis burning heart, which I've been eyeing for a while at the nursery, but wasn't sure if it would go with the color scheme back here. I actually think it works pretty well with the echinacea, so we'll see if it likes living here. The English lavender are almost finished blooming, but it still smells really good over here. I'm actually considering putting in more lavender next year since it does so well over here, and I love the scent. I want to move some things around in the spring, and I'm thinking of extending the lavender patch to the left so that it makes a line behind these chairs. The chocolate cosmos are usually just starting to bloom as the lavender is ending, which ends up being perfect. It takes a while for them to grow in, but it's worth it when they start flowering. I'm thinking about adding a few more of those in as well, just so there's a little bit more repetition in this area. The other thing I've added recently are a few Guara whirling butterfly plants because I really missed mine from last year. There was a pretty bad frost this past year in Portland and all 4 of mine around the garden died. It's a bit late to plant them now, but I really wanted this style and I didn't see it in the gardening centers until recently. I really hope they live through the winter. I'm gonna mulch them really well this year and hope for the best. Our olive tree really suffered from the frost too. It's coming back a little bit. We cut back the dead parts and are just letting it grow and recover. I'm not really sure what to do about the shape of it though. I was hoping for a tree shape initially, but I'm not sure that's possible with where we're at. Anyway, I'm just gonna let it go for at least this full year and see what happens. Hopefully this winter goes better. On the right side of this garden, which I haven't really shared before, I have sort of a semi-shaded holding area for plants. At least that's what it's become. A lot of these are actually from when we first started planting the garden a few years ago, and we didn't really know what we were doing. They ended up here because this was the only place with the right conditions for some of them, and they're thriving, but it's way too crowded, so I'm gonna have to move some of these plants around too. The spring is gonna be really busy. I grew these orange cosmos from seed this year and I'm so proud about how they're doing. They're getting big and they have so many flowers. I added some Heliopsis burning hearts here too, but they look a lot different from the other ones I planted. I really liked them both, so that's why I have more over here. This white ball dahlia plant is also doing well. I did notice some discolored leaves near the bottom, and I'm starting to think some of my dahlia plants are getting spider mites. I'll need to investigate that further, but I really hope they aren't. I had a huge problem with them last year, but this year it's been much cooler, so hopefully it won't be as bad. Further down the path, some other plants I started from seed are growing into. The castor oil plant is doing amazing, but I don't think it'll survive the winter here. I definitely want to grow it again next year. I'm kind of wondering if I could maybe pot this one up for the winter, but I'm not really sure I have the space for it anywhere. Okay, and we have to talk about this pot. Right across the path, the pot I planted up is not doing so well and it's not thriving. I thought this spot was sunny enough, but I think it just gets the hotter afternoon sun and these plants aren't loving it. The firecracker vine hasn't thrived anywhere in the garden. I've planted it in 3 separate spots. It might be because it's been a bit of a cold season, but I don't know if I'll try it again next year. The area next to it will need to be changed up too, since I put all sun-loving plants there. I thought it was sunnier here because the dahlias seem to do pretty well on this side of the path, but they might just be more tolerant to the conditions. Down the walkway, there are so many flowers blooming in my little cottage garden. My dahlias are doing better than they've ever done, and I think it's because they're getting a lot more water. They're still reaching for the middle a bit, but they seem to be doing well enough that I plan to grow them again here next year. I'm considering lifting them for the winter and rearranging them all, but it's a lot of work, so I'm not sure yet. The sweet peas are still going strong. I love this April in Paris color. It's a pretty crisp white color that bleeds into just the faintest cool purple on the edges. These cosmos are new. I bought them at a nursery in Washington on a trip, and they were almost this big when I bought them. Honestly, I was surprised that the nursery still had any plants left to sell. I don't think I would have ever picked this color to grow myself, but once I saw it in person, I fell in love. I would love to know the secret to growing cosmos this big. I don't think any of the ones I grew myself have gotten this tall. Of the cosmos I did grow myself, the apricota variety are a standout. The peachy pink color has so much depth, especially next to this bright yellow dahlia. The nasturtiums are looking great, and I've always struggled with ground cover, and these are actually working. I love the color too. I'm pretty sure these ones are called vanilla berry. There's some nigella that I grew that is blooming, and it's very pretty blue. I can't remember if I scattered seeds here or if I planted tiny seedlings, but I'm so happy that they're coming up. And look at how long the bloom is on this little amaranthus plant. These are so weird and fun. I just love looking at them. Further down, another foxglove has popped up, and this one is a beautiful creamy pale peach pink. Again, different than the other ones, but they're all in the same family, so I'm gonna let it slide. The borage is finishing up, and I'm gonna remove it soon because it's really prickly and it's getting into the path. I already removed a bunch of it that was at the beginning of the path because it was just too out of hand. I love it, but it can really get in the way. I grew some dill and basil more recently from seed, so I've scattered the seedlings about, especially where the borage was. I'm not sure if they'll really get going, but hopefully I will have a little tiny harvest soon. Over on the patio side, I'm growing some hollyhock for next year and a bit more amaranthus and some native foxgloves, which aren't loving being in this tray. I'm not sure if those ones will make it, but very excited for the other things. I've already started some of my gardening planning for next year, and I'm hoping to do a video on that sometime soon. The patio garden has filled out a lot more since last time. This smoke bush has put a lot of effort into this one long shoot, and I'm not really sure what to do about it. It's so tall, it's probably about 8 feet. Do you think I should prune it, or do you think it will start growing branches from this long stick? Let me know what you think. The cosmos that I grew have filled in a little bit more. They're definitely not as tall as some of the other ones I showed earlier. These are Cosmos Snow Puff. I love the weird combination of the Guara with the Cosmos Snow Puff. I don't think that I initially had that in mind, but it's kind of fun. We removed some elephant ear from this area and transplanted it elsewhere, so I have some basil growing there for now too. I think this one is an Italian basil and it has a bit of a strong flavor. To me, it tastes minty even though it hasn't bloomed yet, so I wonder if that's how it's meant to taste or if I did something wrong to it. Let me know if you have any insights on minty basil. And that's my August garden. Thank you so much for being here with me on this garden tour. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I'd love for you to subscribe. I have some really fun ideas for the coming months, and I'd love for you to join me on this gardening journey. Please feel free to leave me a comment with any advice or questions, and I hope you have a lovely day.